Apparently, accommodation in the UK is now a very big deal, and it takes jumping through a lot of hurdle to be able to get through. So that's why I will be talking about it today and giving you guys very useful pointers and ways I've been able to navigate this. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. Has any one of you missed me? If you've missed me, say hey. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. If you see my face for the first time, my name is Atineke, and on this channel I share bits about lifestyle, motherhood, tips for immigrants, generally navigating through adulthood. Anything I think will be helpful for someone out there, I share on this channel. And for the returning viewers, you guys already know how we do it. Thank you so much for engaging with my content. Thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. I appreciate each and every one of you. So let's move on to today's. I always say that my videos are short and they're never short, but today I promise today's one is going to be quite short. Today I just wanted to quickly jump on this and just do it quickly as soon as I can, and I'll be talking about accommodation in the UK. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because a lot of people have reached out to me about getting accommodation in the UK recently, because apparently it's now like a big deal. And the funny thing is, when someone told me about they were trying to get accommodation and we can't seem to find out, like, well, it's not that a big deal, just go online and you find something. I did not know it was quite serious now until I actually had to look for myself. So yeah, apparently accommodation in the UK is now a very big deal, and it takes jumping through a lot of hurdle to be able to get through. So that's why I will be talking about it today and giving you guys very useful pointers and ways I've been able to navigate this. So stick with me. So with getting accommodation in the UK, there are some things that you would need to present for you to be able to sort out your accommodation. And I think that's the major reason why people are having the challenge of sorting out the accommodation, especially for people that are coming from like a different country, like immigrants coming from a different countries, like students, semi-skilled workers, and so on and so forth. That's why they're having a challenge, because you have to like sort some things in the UK before you can actually sort out your accommodation. Now, I will give you guys like the very popular sites that I use that you can also use, because I had to like sort out accommodation for like a couple of people like this past few weeks, and even though it was quite challenging, I found some tips helpful, and that's what I'll be sharing with you guys today. So let's jump right into it. So what I've discovered is, if you want to get accommodation, try getting like a short-term accommodation for the first few weeks before you proper settle in, and then while you have like that short-term accommodation, while you're staying there, then you can sort out your long-term accommodation. Now, it's a bit tricky. Some people just get the long-term accommodation straight up, but it's a bit tricky trying to do that. And the reason why this is a bit tricky is, in the UK now, for you to be able to get like rent a long-term accommodation, and when I say long-term, I mean like over 6 months and above, you need to have your biometric residence permit, your BRP. And the reason why you need to have it, because your BRP shows that you're a resident of the UK. So they will ask for this when they start doing the document checks. And also you need to be able to sort out this right to check. There's this right to rent thing that you have to sort out on gov.uk, where you do like a share code to whoever is renting to you. And before you can do that, you have to actually be resident in the UK to be able to do that. So that's why it might be a bit tricky getting like a long-term accommodation instantly. But what I have noticed some people do is, while you're back in your country, try and start contacting the agencies that let out these spaces, this accommodation, and try and arrange booking, so that by the time you get here, like the first or second day, you go for your booking and you try and sort things out. Now, it might take a couple of days, it might take 1 or 2 weeks to sort everything out, and that is why people get short-term accommodation first before they try and sort out the long-term accommodation. Now, if you have someone that lives in the UK, then it's a bit easier for you, because you can stay with someone for like 1 or 2 weeks while you sort out your accommodation. But if you don't have someone, then what do? I will be giving you all the information. So let's talk about how to get the long-term accommodation first to start with, because that's like pretty much quite common. The two most popular sites that I know most people use and that I have used also is Rightmove and Zoopla. Now, Rightmove and Zoopla, you can get like different types of accommodation, apartments, flats, full house, 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, and even house shares on Rightmove and Zoopla. The best thing to do is, let's say for instance you want to live in Derby, just say okay, 1 bedroom flat rent in Derby. Now when you go on there, go to the filter option and then just filter it to like the minimum or maximum price, your budget range, and then how many rooms you want, is it furnished or not. So try and put on all that filter, and then it will generate a list of houses or a list of apartments that you can get. So that way you're able to get something that is customized to what you want and what you can afford. Same as Zoopla, you just Google what you want, let's say 2-bedroom flat in Derby or 2-bedroom flat in London, then go to the filter and then try and, you know, put a minimum and maximum price. How many rooms do you want, is it furnished or not furnished, and that way it customizes everything to exactly what you want. So for long-term accommodation, Rightmove and Zoopla is your go-to. I think OnTheMarket is also quite popular, but those are like your go-to. Those are the very popular ones. So if you're back in your country, let's say for instance Nigeria, start googling this, start checking for the accommodation, and then you can start contacting them. Now the thing about this country, UK in particular, is that most times you have to like reach out to them via email. So send an email to them and then they will reply you, and then you just, you know, arrange a viewing with that. Okay, so you're coming in on the 8th, arrange a viewing for the 8th or on the 9th, and then you can quickly go and then you check. Okay, so that's how to get the long-term accommodation. Now the problem with this is most times they would ask you questions like what do you do for a living, can we see your paycheck, pay slip, this and that, do you have your right to share, a right to rent code and all that. So that's why most times it's always better if you're already in the UK to sort this out. But just try and be very smart when you're trying to sort things out with these agents. Just tell them that, okay, you're a student, if you have a dependent, your dependent is a full-time worker, and you're just trying to like settle in, you have a UK guarantor. You just tell them all this information first time so they don't refuse you, because I've noticed that this past few days they're refusing students. So that's how to get like a long-term rent. Now let's talk about the short-term rent, because I think that is actually like the major issue for people. They need a place to stay for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month before they can actually like get a proper accommodation. So the number one site that I think have been quite useful for me and for others that I've referred to is Airbnb. I know it sounds like, oh, Airbnb is something I know, but then people don't think about that when they're looking for like short-term accommodation. They just think, oh, when you're going for vacation is when you use Airbnb. But Airbnb can be very invaluable when you need a short-term accommodation, and you can find like very cheap houses on Airbnb or very cheap rooms. Now the thing with Airbnb is most times it's always like, you know, renting a room in like someone else's house and all, but then you're trying to just get somewhere to put your head on, you know, for like 1 or 2 weeks. You don't have a choice, so just go to the filter as usual on Airbnb sites, put the filter in that you want 1 room, you want within this or this price, and then, you know, just get something for like 1 or 2 weeks, so that at least you have somewhere to stay or you sort out your long-term accommodation. So Airbnb is a very good one. Another one is Facebook Market. I know. So if you use Facebook, because I know most people use Facebook, just go on Marketplace on Facebook. Go to the filter option and just try and I said I trade because I'm a science person. So just try and put on like your your location. So let's say for instance I'm London, just put London and then put maybe like 4 or 5 kilometers, or, you know, whatever length you're willing to travel from where you want to stay. So put the filter on, and then you just see so many like 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, or spare rooms to rent on Facebook Market. Now for Facebook Market you have to be quite careful, because now I've noticed that scammers are using it now like really well. Like they'll put accommodation that just looks too good to be true, and then they tell you to pay beforehand before you actually see what you want to get and all. So you have to be very smart about Facebook Market. But if you're smart, you would get what you want on Facebook Market, and you get like a good accommodation on Facebook Market. And the good thing is that with Facebook Market you don't have to jump through the hoops of like, you know, agencies and all that, because most times it's like individuals that own the house that just put it up because they don't want to stress about agencies. So they just put it up on Facebook Market, and then you can just rent directly from them. You might not even have to pay for deposit and all that, because the thing with Rightmove and Zoopla is it's agencies that will put them on. So individuals will go to agencies that, okay, help me rent out my apartment. So agencies will put them on, and then agencies will ask you for all sorts, for documents, for deposit. They might say 5 weeks deposit, 6 weeks deposit, you know, things like that. So yeah, so if you want something cheaper and something quick, Airbnb, Facebook Market, those are good options. Another very good option for short-term rental is open rent. Now the way open rent works is landlord that have like spare space, maybe like 1 bedroom in their 3-bedroom house, or they even have like a studio apartment, and you don't want to go through like, you know, agencies and all that, you just put it on open rent. And I think that's the right meaning of open rent. So it's quite easy to like get an apartment, and then most times you won't have to pay deposits. I know with the deposit thing it might be a bit of a struggle for some people because it's a lot of money, but they are doing this 0% deposit scheme now. So even if you're using Rightmove or Zoopla, you know, those very expensive agents and all that, try and ask them that, do you have 0% deposit option? That way you don't have to pay deposit. It's like a government scheme thing, you can just read about that, but that way you don't have to pay so much for deposit. But some of them don't do it, but just in case, just ask them if you know you're struggling to like come up with your deposit. So open rent is another very good one. Another very good one to get, especially when you're looking for like house share, is SpareRoom. So the way SpareRoom works is, if for instance I have like a 3-bedroom house and I want to make a bit more, so I would furnish each of them and then I'll just rent it out one after, like individually. So I rent 1 bedroom out to one person, 1 bedroom out to another person. So like in the 3-bedroom house, I'll have 3 different people living in it, so that way they get to make more. So that's the way SpareRoom works. So people put up like just rooms on SpareRoom, so it's not like a whole house. So if you're just like, if it's just one of you, like you don't have like a family and all, and you just need like a room, most times they would even have like rooms that are in suites that you have your own bathroom in it, so you're not like having like a bathroom share, but some of them will be a bathroom share like with the other occupants of the house. But if you go on SpareRoom, I think SpareRoom.com, yeah, so just so SpareRoom London or SpareRoom Derby, wherever it is you're trying to get an apartment from, you see SpareRooms you see SpareRooms on SpareRoom. So SpareRoom is also a very good one. Now I know I'm just rattling out all those names, but I'll put everything in the description box for you, and then that way once you just go on the site, put in your location and how many kilometers you're willing to travel, and then it will show up you know, places where you can get this accommodation. Another very good one is Gumtree. Now Gumtree is good because it doesn't have so many rules attached to it. Like I also say, like the others is like individuals putting up their houses, trying to like cut through the hoop of like agents and all that. So most times it's just like the person that's actually renting it out that you speak to directly, and most times they won't even ask you for deposit. They just say, okay, pay 1 month rent. Some of them will want deposit, but some won't. You can get 1 bedroom on Gumtree, and you can actually get a whole house on Gumtree. So if you have a family, you know, and SpareRoom cannot really work for you, Gumtree is a good one for you. Gumtree or Facebook Market is a good one for you. So the other ones that I found useful, you know, getting a room or getting an apartment is Room to Go, Find a Flatmate. So that I think, is it Find a Hood? Sorry, Find a Hood is also like Gumtree, like it's a bit unconventional, but then you'll be able to get what you want. Ideal Flatmate is also a good one. Someone would probably like rent a whole house out and decide that, oh, I don't need 3 rooms, I need just 2. I can rent 1 out to someone else. So Find a Flatmate is also a good one. But like I said, I'll put the list of everything in the description box, and you guys can just go on and then check and just see what applies to you. But I think what really matters when it comes to searching for accommodation these days, especially with the markets, because there's just so many people trying to get an apartment, and there's like a limited number of, you know, houses and apartments that they have. So it takes being very, very determined. You have to keep checking and keep calling them. So once you just find a place, write down the address, write down the contact number or the email address. If you're still like, you know, out of the UK, write down the email address, get in touch with them. You would send so many mails, do so many calls for you to be able to get something. When a friend of mine called and they were struggling with apartment, I knew the number of times I had to like call so many people, like so many private landlords, so many agencies and all. But then within like few days I was able to get something. So you would get something, but it would just take a bit of like, you know, hard work. So if you're not afraid to, you know, do the work, then you get something. Well, like I said, I'll put the list of all these sites for you in the description box, because I've got you guys. Now let me give you guys this tip. So generally now I've talked about like sites that you can use to get accommodation, you know, short term, long term. Now these are the very essential tips that I think will be useful for you. The first thing is, try and stay away from city center if you're, you know, desperate and looking for a place that is affordable. Now the thing is, most universities are located around, and I'm saying this because I know that people that are really struggling with accommodation are like students that are coming into the UK, you know, for their postgraduate degrees, or, you know, people that are coming in as carers and all and are struggling with accommodation. The university is always located around the city center, and houses around the city centers are always very expensive because they know that it is hot cake, people will get it. So if you are doing shakara, another person will come, another person will rent it. So try and move a bit out of the city center, you know, zone, because the good thing is that the UK has a very good transport network. Is it right? There's a train, there's tram, there's buses and all that. And if you even know how to ride a bicycle, you can just ride a bicycle, you know, from wherever you are. So try and go about 2 to 3 kilometers out of the city center zone, because there you would find bigger houses and that they will be more affordable. And that way all you just need to do is just find the bus route or find the tram route, and you just take 1 bus to you. So make sure that when you're finding somewhere outside the city, that don't find somewhere that you have to take like 3 or 4 buses, because you probably not be driving in immediately you get in. So find somewhere that is not too far, maybe like 2 to 3 kilometers out, and you can find a single bus directly to the town center. That way it makes your life so much easier. You quickly get a place, and then in the long run, when you now decide you want the city center area, you have the time to settle down and search for that. And really, I tell you, like, living beside or living around the city center is just too much hype. I lived around the city center for like 1 year and I didn't really enjoy it. I just like the quiet of like suburbs. So find somewhere outside the city center. It just helps you in the long run. Then another tip, which is like a follow-up of, you know, staying outside the city center, is because you're staying outside the city center, you need to have like good, you know, transport routes or everything sorted. So make sure that you are looking for cheaper options for like this transportation that you'll be doing every day. So let's say for instance that you'll be using the bus. Instead of buying daily tickets, try getting weekly or monthly tickets. You save a bit. So most times when, like, let's say for instance the daily ticket is £3, if you decide to get like the monthly ticket, it might be about like £50 or £60. So you shave off about like £10 or £20. So try and find cheaper options. If you're using the train, let's say for people that are like maybe you're schooling in Leicester and you're living in Derby and you're taking the train. Now, a good thing is to have a rail card. The rail card is about £30. I know sometimes they even do discount and it's £20. Get a rail card. That way, whatever you're paying will be like a cheaper fraction of what you are supposed to pay for your train ride. I don't know if you understand that. So if you're supposed to pay, let's say £20 for your train, toll fro, if you have a rail card, you might not pay more than like £12 or £16 or £14. So get a rail card, and it's just £30 for a year. And before you know it, it would actually pay for itself from, you know, like discounts and savings you get on your rail ticket. So if you're going to be using the train, get a rail card. If you're around like the London area, get an Oyster card. It's easier than like just tapping your card, you know, generally. So these things, like getting cheaper options for like transportation, will just help you to save money in the long run. Another very essential tip that I would give you guys is look for furnished apartments and bills included apartments. Especially if it's like maybe like one of you or two of you, like a couple or just you, it's always so much easier and cheaper for you to get a furnished apartment. Now, because the problem is when you get an unfurnished apartment, then you have to start thinking of buying this sofa, buying a bed, doing this and that. But most times they have like, you know, when you're getting like just one room, they have the whole place all set up, furnished, washing machine, freezer, fridge, everything is all set up. Even a bed is already there. So probably the only thing you need to get is just get your crockeries, you know, plates and pans and all that you use. So, and then bills included is very important. Especially if you're a student and you know you're trying to like scrimp and save money, because bills these days in the UK is so expensive. Now you'll be paying a lot for electricity and gas and water. So if your apartment is bills included, it makes a lot of sense because it will be saving you a lot of money. However, if you don't manage to get bills included one, because I think landlords are getting like quite wise now and they're not doing bills included. If you get the regular ones that you have to pay your bills, it shouldn't be so crazy, because I think from now till I think March or so, till they decide to scrap it because of the old Braha in the UK, you can get I think £66 or £67 off your electricity and gas. So that should, excuse me guys, that should save you a bit of money. And then water is quite cheap, like say £15-20 you should get water per month. You get broadband, and then for what's it called, council tax, students get exemption. So that's good for you, because council tax is also a bit expensive, like £100 per month, but I think students get exemption. So that way you cut off you know, so many bills to pay. So try and get bills included, try and get furnished one. However, if you don't manage to get a furnished apartment, there are very cheap ways to get like furnishings. You don't have to, you know, especially if you can afford it, please just splurge and treat yourself. But if you can't afford it, there are so many places where you can get like cheap bed and sofas and all that. Facebook Market, guys, Facebook Market, don't sleep on it. You can get so many, you will not even believe, you can get literally everything on Facebook Market. So go on Facebook Market. People are willing to sell their washing machine that is not spoiled, but they've just decided to buy another one. So they sell their, like when I wanted to sell my old washing machine, I just put it on Facebook Market. So someone bought it and it was still working perfectly, and I sold it for cheap, like a fraction of what I bought it. So get your stores on Facebook Market, and also go to charity shops. There you can get beds, you can get furniture and all that for very cheap. Because the truth is that most people that are coming in, they're trying to like scrimp and, you know, save and just make good use of their money. So these are places where you can get very affordable furniture, very affordable furnishings generally for your apartments. And I think generally the last advice is just try and start thinking about what you want to do, or actually start doing your research before you leave your country. So before you actually come into the UK, try just that you already know what university you'll be going to, let's say you be in Leicester University, try and start searching already. Search for apartment, try and get in touch with these agents, and just try and start working on it. Send them emails and everything. Tell them, oh yeah, you'll be in, or just don't even bother telling them. Just tell them like you want to book a viewing for when you be available and all. Because the way it is, accommodation is very, very crazy now in the UK. Like it gets snatched up, and people are really struggling. People are struggling a lot. People are sleeping outside because they don't have anywhere to stay in. So reach out to people that you know already in the UK, if they can house you for like a week or two. If not, then try and get a short-term accommodation like I said, and then in the long run you sort out. So because the truth is, you might not be able to sort out the long-term accommodation from back at home. So come in here, stay in a short-term accommodation. Booking.com is also a very good one. I've used that too. I know it's not just for hotels. You can find accommodation like serviced apartments on Booking.com. So like I said, even if I've not mentioned it and I just think of it, I'll put like a full list of all these sites where you can get accommodation. So yeah, I think the last tip is just try and sort it out before you leave. Accommodation is very, very crazy now. People are really struggling. So try and start your research from back at home, and contact them, tell them that, oh yeah, you'll be coming to view it next week, when you know that you're actually going to be in next week. Because so if you can't get the long-term one, sort out the short-term one first. Stay somewhere for like 1, 2, 3 weeks, and then from there you sort out your long-term accommodation. Because in the UK it takes rules, nothing is like very fast, so it takes a couple of hoops to jump. So you want to have somewhere to stay so you're not stranded. So you guys, I was just rushing through that because I know myself, and I know I could go on, and I have promised myself that this is going to be a short video. So I hope it was a short video, but I just thought, like, so many people have been complaining about this, let me jump on it and give my guys low down. So guys, please don't forget to engage with this video. Drop your comments. If you have any questions about accommodation, drop it in the comment section. Like this video, share with your friends that are coming in or that are here already and struggling, and just let me know what you think generally. And don't forget to put on your notification bell, so when I drop new videos you get first dibs on it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye.